Welcome in to Rock Hard Ball, part of the Dogs Media Network at College Football Dogs. Let's get rock hard. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to another episode of Rock Hard Ball. As always, I'm Karter Longy. That's Kyle Wells, goes by Weezy if you're new around here. So a little bit different look tonight in the studio. We are actually at my house. So we'll just open up the disclaimer right away. We're college students, as you know, most of you know. So I do live with roommates. So if you ever, at any time hear some rustling or some background noise, apologies. But we're gonna try out something new here. Might do this, once or twice a month going forward. We're gonna get a little bit better setup going forward. But for now, we kind of did some makeshift stuff, and we're just gonna do one once in a while where we just kind of hang out, drink some beer, and do a little bit more of a laid back show. So because big beer guys for sure. So Weezy, I guess you think that's funny or what?
Yeah.
Okay. But again, thank you guys all for joining us. Again, it says 9 p.m. Central Time. That's usually when we start, but again, with the different setup tonight, we went a little bit later. So thanks for still tuning in here at the 9:30 slot. As for today's episode, this is what we got on deck. Once again, we missed Monday. I went to the Chiefs game, so I guess bad on me for missing out on the show. But we were going to do Tuesday show, but we decided that we just kind of wanted to wait and do this. So that's where we're at. So we're going to have to run through recaps of week 6 and week 5 in college football and NFL, and then we'll preview these upcoming games for this weekend. So a lot on the slate today. We'll probably move just a little faster through a lot of these games than we usually do, so that this episode doesn't get too terribly long. But yeah, it's kind of the rundown. And we have Rock Hard Takes, of course, at the end of the show. Today's version of Rock Hard Takes is going to be TV shows. So stick around for that. We're going to do Rock Hard Takes, the best TV shows. So yeah, that's basically what we got on the docket. So without further ado, I guess let's get into it. First things first, we'll start college football like normal. We'll start with the week 6 recap, and then from there we'll go look at the AP poll based on how week 6 kind of affected that. And then from that point, we'll go into the week 7 preview. So first things first, we'll start with the Friday games. Oregon beat Michigan State 31-10. Again, we were both pretty hard on Michigan State coming into the year. They did a little better going forward, but this one was a complete domination by Oregon. Michigan State scored all 10 points in the fourth quarter. They've been
just sneakiest backdoor cover of all time. Killed me. I don't think we have the graphic of Rock Hard bets, so
it'll be a good week to not have it.
I'll just start. Yeah, I didn't hit a single bet. I did have 2 pushes, but don't care about those. Kicking a field goal to make it a 31-10 game with 10 seconds left is just the softest move of all time by Jonathan Smith. I hope they don't win another game this year. I hope they get brutally killed in every single game they play.
Fair enough. Yeah, bad backdoor cover for the Wees. Neither of us had a good week betting. I don't remember what my final record ended up being, but I think I maybe won 1 or 2 bets at the most. So
first time that's happened though. So
yeah, this is the first. I think this is the first time ever that both of us have been under 500. Definitely the first time for Weezy. Technically, I was under 500 week 0 when I had 2 bets that just both missed. But since then, I'd been 500 or plus every single week. So bad week for the bets. But hopefully we'll get back on track soon. Next game though on Friday, a little bit more important one. Syracuse and UNLV. UNLV, obviously a team that was looking at possibly being that Group of 5 playoff team. We're 4-0 coming into this one. Had another chance for a Power 4 win. It was at home. Went to overtime, and they ended up falling short to Kyle McCord and the Orange. Again, final score 44-1.
Or threw the ball 63 times.
Yeah, threw it a lot.
It's ridiculous.
He's thrown it a lot all year.
They kind of have to. Like he is their guy.
Passing yards, I think. But yeah, he's been very good for most of the year. UNLV fell behind early, tried getting back in it. They actually ended up taking the lead at the end of the first half after being down 14-0 after the first quarter. But again, Syracuse just a little bit too much to overcome in the end. UNLV kicked a field goal on their overtime possession, and Syracuse was able to get the touchdown. So they ended up losing. So UNLV now, again, we'll get into the AP poll, but obviously they were 25, so they have now fallen out. Only 1 loss, though, so I don't think it's over by any means for them in terms of getting the playoff spot. The biggest game remaining in their schedule is obviously going to be Boise State at home, because Boise State is 100% the team that's in the driver's seat for that Group of 5 playoff spot right now. But again, a lot of season in front of us, so we'll see what ends up happening with the Running Rebels. Next, let's get to Saturday. Game that we got to get open up with right away here first. The biggest game of probably the year. In a lot of people's eyes, one of the biggest upsets of the year, depending on who you ask. Maybe Notre Dame's NIU upset was worse, but Vanderbilt downs Alabama 40-35 at home. They took down the goalposts, threw them in the river. Alabama, after 1 week after beating Georgia, we talked about it a little bit in the preview. Look ahead game a little bit, maybe, or not really look at it, but hangover, I guess, from the last one. You just beat your rival, the number 1 team in the country. And then you come in, you play Vanderbilt, a team that you've been able to beat up on for years in the Saban regime. And Vanderbilt's been, feisty all year, like we've said. But
yeah, they win games, they lose games. It's weird. It's weird how they are. This might be like first few time that we've talked about it, kind of going into it. We always said there's probably a tier one. There might just truly be like disparity all across college football for the first time in maybe ever.
And it's good in the first year of the 12-team playoff.
Like
it's about the best time you could have it.
Like in years prior, if I told you Vanderbilt beat Alabama, you'd just be like, no, they didn't. Like that's a lie. But obviously, it's not a lie this time. It's just a weird culture. And obviously, speaking of that, like we're going to talk about this whole slate. A lot of games proved it. That it's just like, hey, if you don't show up your best on Saturday, like anybody in college football, like these days, can beat you.
Yeah, any given Saturday, which a lot of time in college football doesn't really feel like that. Obviously, the actual code is any given Sunday. But yeah, shout out to Vanderbilt. Shout out to our own Vandy Chris from College Football Dogs. He's been high on Vanderbilt all year. He told everybody. Now I guess they proved it a little bit. They beat Alabama, and again they've been in a lot of close games. So maybe Vanderbilt's going to have one of their better years that they've had in a while, because obviously they're pretty much perennially the worst team in the SEC, but not going to win Alabama is huge. It's the first time they've ever beat a top 5 team.
Yeah, it's also first time they ever beat top 5, top 1. Just like fun. I feel like if Vanderbilt's going to beat Bama, it's going to be in like just a gross game where Alabama just can't move the ball. I mean, they put up 40 on Alabama. I mean, something Georgia couldn't do. It's just a fun offense when they click. Like, yeah, they could beat anybody if they're playing their best.
Yeah, Diego Pavia, the quarterback for Vanderbilt, super fun. He's been active on social media too after the win, which I loved. He's out there giving love to the fans and all that. So that was fun to see. But yeah, just again, shout out to Vanderbilt. I think Alabama's going to be okay. Obviously a game that you don't want to drop. And it obviously drops you immediately from that number 1 spot. They could have controlled their own destiny to get in that top seed in the playoff. Now they don't, but we'll see what happens going forward. They didn't drop very far in the AP poll. Again, we'll get to that later. Yeah. They didn't drop too terribly far. Ohio State beat Iowa 35-7. Game that people thought maybe could be a little bit interesting. Ohio State really hadn't played anybody. I still think Iowa's a decent team, but I think this is the first time that the country finally got to see that Ohio State's.
They're legit, but it's also like every single week so far this year, it's like they come out really slow in the first half of every game. They're only up 7-0 going into halftime. Like when they play, we'll get into it. They play Oregon this week. Like those are games where you can't just fall asleep the first half and then just bank on a huge, just a great third and fourth quarter. Like
100%.
Obviously Iowa's good, but they're, no world beater. They don't, they're not in the same class as Iowa. So you have to truly, like, you got to play 4 quarters, and they haven't yet, in my opinion.
Yeah, and Iowa, again, like you said, they're no world beaters. They do look like, again, a team that's just like, they're not going to be able to compete with your Ohio States of the world. They're still going to get pounded by them. But, of course, I'm sure Iowa's still going to win just about every game that they should win this year. I still don't hate their win total of being like 7 or 8 games. So, Arkansas and Tennessee played.
Down goes another one.
Down goes another top 5 team. Tennessee was number 4 in the country coming to this one. Arkansas able to get the win. This is another one that we called as one where, Tennessee couldn't kind of overlook this. Arkansas's had a solid year so far. Tennessee was coming off that, big win at Oklahoma. Well, by 10 points in a game that they really controlled the entire time. And then, coming up, they had Alabama in a couple weeks, maybe, thinking about that a little too early. So they go into, they're in Fayetteville, right?
Yeah.
So that, yeah. Yep. And they fall 19-14. So the first time that they've looked human.
Yeah. And speaking of, just low IQ of the game situation, you saw the final play?
No.
I forgot the exact situation. It was 4th and 5 though, on like their Arkansas's 15. And Nico just starts scrambling and just runs out of bounds, like trying to gain a first down. There's 0 time on the clock.
Oh,
nice. He just runs like, what the hell are you doing?
I don't know how I didn't see that.
Yeah, you have to take a shot in the end zone. He just walked out of bounds.
Yeah, no, it's
summed up the entire game.
Maybe a little bit of a freshman move for the first time from Nico.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tennessee goes down. They'll drop a little bit. Georgia took care of business after their loss last week. They beat Auburn 31-13. Auburn now, most people are starting to think might be in the running for like the worst team in the SEC, which is weird because they really haven't been that terribly bad, it seems like, in a lot of their games. But I mean, Georgia takes care of business. I don't really know how much else there's to say here.
No, there isn't. Yeah, I mean, Auburn's bad.
Yeah, Penn State beat UCLA again. UCLA is really bad. Penn State won 27-11. Again, I don't really have a whole lot in this game. Penn State did come out slow though; didn't score in the first quarter, but they did take a 14-3 lead into halftime. Eventually, were able to take care of business, get the win.
I mean, I have something to say on this. It's week after week after week. Penn State is not a good football team. They're fine. Like, they're going to beat who they beat. Like, this team should not get in the playoffs. They shouldn't.
That's hard to say, though, because there's a lot of teams that we could say that haven't looked good.
I guess, yeah, in this
I think
era
they are
too,
good.
if you
They
don't
are
look
a
good and you're
playoff
still
team.
winning games, it's a lot
I
different.
just don't think they're great.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
And I think we said that all
We're
year.
going to talk about the AP poll. They're number 4.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous to me.
Yeah, that's too far. They were 7 coming into this one. That probably was even too far to begin with. So
I mean,
you can crack your beer. It's okay. We gave a disclaimer.
Yeah, we gave a disclaimer.
Guys,
People are here.
But yeah, so Penn State moves on. Whatever, get another win. Another exciting game though from the weekend. Miami somehow escapes for the second week in a row. They won 39-38 against Cal on a basically another replay, like basically a ref decided game, which people are upset with to a point in terms of we don't like to see refs making those kind of calls that really decide a game, but sometimes they're just necessary. They battled all the way back. They outscored them 21-3 in the fourth quarter. End up pulling out the win. Cam Ward just continues to show up big in moments when they need them.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, but they can't keep doing this. Obviously, the last week a little bit different this time. What were they down, Max? Like 31-15?
Yeah,
something like that.
I think it was 20 plus. They were down at some point.
Yeah, it was a lot. Like again, if Miami is truly wants to be back, you can't keep pulling off the miracles like they have been. So they need to really tighten it up.
Next one, Texas A&M, Missouri. A&M 25 in the country coming to this one. We haven't been too terribly kind to them for the most part. Their one loss coming in was to Notre Dame at home, which didn't look great for how Notre Dame looked later in the year. But they had number 9 team in the country, Missouri, come in undefeated. Team that we didn't really know what to do with because they had too many close calls. It's like those close calls caught up to them because Texas A&M just piss pounded them 24-0 at the end of the first half. Again, final score is 41-10. So again, we feel like we asked this question a lot. Does this game tell you more about Texas A&M being better than we thought, or is Missouri just complete frauds?
It answers a little bit of both, but leaning towards Missouri just really being bad. But then it's also polarizing because you're like, we really, talk down on them because of the double overtime against Vanderbilt, who then goes and beats Alabama. I don't know what to think about college football anymore. Like, I feel like we can just say whatever the hell we want to say. We're either going to be right or wrong. And it's like, but I'm going to lean towards Missouri is just a very bad football team.
Yeah, I think I'm probably in the same boat as you. But again, still props to Texas A&M. Still tough to win against teams that got a lot of talent. So maybe they're a little better than we thought. Next one, another borderline top 10 team falls. Number 11 USC on the road against Minnesota. We were, way wrong on this one. This is one of my bets that I straight up missed on. I had USC minus 8.5. They end up losing 24-17 against Minnesota. After that Michigan game, we both said that it felt like one where, Michigan just has trouble against teams like that where they just don't really have the offensive firepower to just put away teams that they're better than on paper. Whereas USC is literally built to do that. Wasn't the case, though. They, were in a dogfight early. It was 10-10 at the half. And Minnesota ends up outscoring them 14-0 in the fourth quarter, and then they lose by a touchdown. USC is now fallen all the way out of the rankings. So what's the reading on USC in their state of the program at this point?
Bad. I like. Do they go in the direction of?
All right.
Do they go in the direction of firing or no?
Of firing?
Yeah.
Like in Riley?
Yeah.
No, I think that's too early for that.
They lost to Minnesota.
I know,
they
but
lost to Michigan, who we'll talk about them.
The one thing I'll give to them, it's year one of kind of like an overhaul for that team. They're trying to completely adjust their style of play to adjust the Big Ten a little bit. They're focusing a lot more heavily on defense. They're trying to, change the.
I don't care your adjustment of play. It's like you're 11 ranked USC. Like Minnesota should be the teams that. When was the last time Minnesota has been pretty relevant? COVID? No.
If you even count that.
They were like decent in
2021. Yeah, whatever it was. Whatever that year was, they only like 7 games. Yeah. And even that's like really not that relevant.
Yeah, exactly. So no, I don't.
It's a bad loss.
No, okay.
So
the firing was bad, but like it is a big
seat's getting warmer though, for sure.
100%.
It's the first time that they've probably felt any heat, really.
They're 3-2. I don't know what their schedule looks like. I can pull it up. Should we do a little mini game? Wins, losses? Just tell me what. At home against Penn State next week.
I'm gonna loss.
No shit. At Maryland.
Win.
Home against Rutgers.
That's going to be probably a tough game, but I think they probably win it, especially it's like 10 p.m. That's like their kind of time,
At Washington.
After watching them beat Michigan, I don't know. I'll go win.
Home against Nebraska.
Lost by 90.
At UCLA.
Win.
And home against Notre Dame.
Loss.
So what's that final?
1, 2, probably 3. I'd say they lose at least 3 games because
Okay.
they lose. I think they lose at least 1 between Rutgers,
So you
Washington, and Nebraska.
do you think they go 6-6?
I think there's a very realistic chance. Yeah, 7-5.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay.
I think they probably lose at least 1 out of the Rutgers, Washington, Nebraska stretch. They lose to Notre Dame. They lose to Penn State. So yeah, that would put them at 7-5. So it's basically as long as they don't drop 2 out of 3 against those teams, I wouldn't see them going 6-6 or worse. But yeah, that's where I'm at on USC right now. Okay, next game run through here. Ole Miss bounced back, took care of business again, 27-3 against South Carolina. South Carolina's,
such a weird team to me.
Giving teams some problems. So good job by Ole Miss, taking care of business there. Clemson, beat Florida State 29-13. I think we all saw that one coming. That one was not a game early. Clemson was up 17-0 in the first quarter. Apparently, even without DJU, Florida State still sucks. They fall to 1-5. Iowa State beat Baylor 43-21. Iowa State looks better and better, I think, by the week. Baylor, again, has proven to be a team that I think that's solid. They hung with BYU. They should have beaten Colorado. So that's, there's very good chances Baylor team could be like 4-2 with a ranked win, just a couple plays away. So a good win from Iowa State, I think. Boise State and GT just continue to blow minds. They won 62-30.
I mean, yeah, he had 13 for 186 and 3 touchdowns. He didn't step foot on the field in the second half.
Yeah, he's over 1,000 yards now, and 13 touchdowns?
Yeah.
And he hasn't played. He's played 16 quarters. So he hasn't played in 2 entire second halves.
No, he has 16 touchdowns.
Oh, my bad.
So he's got to be well on pace to beat Sanders' record, right?
Yeah, he's averaging a touchdown a quarter. So that's ridiculous to begin with. And then also, again, he's over 1,000 yards. I mean, if he plays those 2 second halves, he's probably at 1,200 yards and 18, 19 touchdowns. So it's ridiculous. He's the favorite to win the Heisman now. I think it'd be fun to see him win, but we'll just, again, have to see if he can kind of keep up that historic. That's what he's going to have to do to win it. He's going to have to keep up an historic pace.
Yeah, if he puts up like 35, 36 touchdowns, I think he wins it.
Oh, 100%. I think anything over 3,000 and 30, I think he'd win.
Okay.
And again, I think part of that also relies on Boise State probably making the playoff.
Yeah,
that's also a huge boost. SMU picked up a ranked win, 34-27 over Louisville. So they dropped back-to-back games. Again, that was one that we talked about. Could definitely be upset alert with Louisville coming off that game against Notre Dame. You lose a tough one against a team that if you would have beat, would have put you in really good position to jump up the rankings a little bit and be in contention to win the ACC. Now SMU is a team that I think we're talking about to maybe be in the ACC championship. They're 5-1 now. I believe they're in the rankings now. Yeah, they're at 25 now in the AP poll. So good win from them for sure on the road to.
And their best. I mean, they have a really good loss too.
Yeah,
lost by 3 to BYU. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to think about that conference. It's just all over the place.
Yeah, it's a mess because Miami's had some trouble now. Clemson, obviously, we still can't ignore that, pounding from Georgia, but I think they bounced back well from that. But yeah, ACC wide open. And then finally, Indiana took care of business against Northwestern 41-24. Still haven't really had a real test, but I think they are a solid team. We'll see what happens with them the rest of the year. Rourke, or how we pronounce his name, Rourke. Really good quarterback.
I think it's
Rourke's really good. And then Cignetti, I think, is a very fine head coach. So a lot of good things, I think, right now for Indiana going on. Let's take a look at the AP now.
After to hit on our teams.
Oh yeah, let's hit on our teams. I guess my bad. I did brush over them earlier. Okay, Michigan, Nebraska. We can do Nebraska first. That one's a little bit more positive. They beat Rutgers 14-7. Unfortunately, another game where Nebraska kind of only played one half. They went up 14-0 heading into the half, and then they just didn't score again for the game. Rilo definitely had his worst game so far in his young college career. He went 13-27 for 134 yards, no touchdowns and a pick. Shout out to Brian Buschini, player of the game. He had that completion for 30 yards on the fake punts. He also hurt his back early on. He got hit and it was a flag, and he continued to just hit.
Yeah, he was the player of the game.
So yeah, hell of a game from him. And then also just shout out to the defense.
Yeah.
Really Rutgers, not a bad team by any means. I think this was still a good win for Nebraska. I know some fans were kind of turned off by it just because the offense was kind of slow, but I think that's what we all expected coming into the year, and then it just kind of ended up being flipped. Because I literally just said in the preview last week that it had been a little disappointing. Yeah, it was fun that the offense looked maybe a little better than we thought it would this early with how young they were in a lot of important spots, specifically quarterback. But the defense had been a little shaky at times, which was concerning because they were supposed to be a borderline top 10, position group in the country. And this one, they did show out. The defense played super well. Rutgers couldn't get anything going on offense for most of the game. And yeah, the offense is going to have their growing pains with a true freshman quarterback and a couple of other true freshmen or sophomore, important skill players that are getting a lot of snaps. So I didn't take anything, too terribly negative in this game.
No, it wasn't
I think
terrible.
it was still a positive outcome.
And then the one outtake for Rutgers too is like they really cannot throw the ball.
Mhm.
That was pretty evident. Without minus, how do you pronounce his name again? All we heard, Monagai.
No idea.
Monagai. He's a stud, but as soon as they kept calling on him way too much, so it became a problem. Rutgers, are not gonna be able to win games on the stretch if they can't throw the ball. Like another team in the Big Ten who we'll hit on right now.
Yeah. So Michigan, Weezy's beloved Blue, have lost 27-17 on the road to Washington. They got outscored 13-0 in the fourth quarter to end up losing. They had 17-14 lead going into the fourth. And again, like you just said, they can't throw the ball. Maybe a little bit of hope here after seeing.
Yeah, Jack Tuttle looked really good. There was reports that it was his first week of practice last week and that he would have been the one. I don't know if I really buy that. Coaching staff doesn't seem like they know what they're doing at all. And then the big takeaway too is like this defense brought all this talent back. It's not a good defense. I think about 95% of the blame's Wink Martindale. He's the worst thing that's come into my life in the past year. And he's really bad. He doesn't know what to do on third down. He's just a complete disaster. They'll either rush 3 or rush 7. Yeah, I'll take a beer. So overall, it's just a disaster. And at this point, going into this, I thought, okay, we're going to win this one. I don't care if they're underdogs. 5-1, going to be still top 10. I mean, this season could be 5 losses for Michigan. It's just not a very good team.
Yeah, they obviously still got some hope from the voters, though. As we'll kind of transition to the AP poll, Michigan's still hanging on to a poll spot. They're the only team now.
They'll get booted though.
Officially the first team. Though we'll give them the little.
They're on a bye week though, so I think the field will probably kick them out.
But what I was getting to, thanks. We had a beer boy, Nathan Breitbarth here. So shout out, appreciate it. But yeah, they for the first time this year we have a 2-loss team that is into the rankings still. So Michigan drops 14 spots down to 24. Like we mentioned earlier, SMU has entered the rankings at 25. Illinois as at 23, they move up a spot. Pittsburgh 22 was previously unranked. They move into the rankings. 21 is Missouri, dropping 12 spots after that loss to A&M. Oklahoma's up 1 spot to 18. Indiana 5 spots also to 18. Kansas State up 2 spots also to 18. We have 3 teams tied at the 18th spot in the country, so that's weird. Boise State, it's at 17. Utah 16, A&M 15, BYU 14. LSU is still ranked 13th in the country. I don't think they're a good team. Notre Dame's 11, Iowa State's 11. Multiple ties in the poll this week, which is also really weird. Clemson's at 10, Ole Miss 9, Tennessee 8, down 4 spots from their loss. Bama's at 7, as we mentioned. They dropped 6 from number 1. Miami still moved up a couple spots because
they had to. Yeah,
in front of them. Number 6. Georgia stays at 5. Penn State, like we said, up 3 spots to 4, definitely not deserved, but they go into USC this week, so they'll either lose and drop a lot, or they'll win and probably just stay there. Oregon's up to 3. Number 1 team this year, probably that's just benefited from just
everybody losing.
Somehow they continue to pull out games and keeps losing in front of them, so they're now at 3.
They also have looked a lot better.
Yes, 100%. And also the win against Boise State just continues to look better and better.
Yeah,
they're a very legit team, especially for the group of 5. Ohio State's at 2. Again, another team that just has won this year, just taking care of business. And then finally Texas is at 1. I think Texas, kind of back where they, deserve a little bit. Yeah. It's always tough when, a team gets a big win and you're ahead of them because.
And they didn't play that week either, right?
It's hard to drop a team when nothing happens. Like if they either win or just don't play. But at the same time, it is hard to not put Alabama at 1 after a win like that. But now they're right back in it. So I think it was the first time in college football history that team was number 1, dropped out of number 1, and immediately went back into number 1
wow.
3 consecutive weeks. So yeah, pretty wild there. But that's going to do it, I guess, for kind of the recap and then where we're at now. We'll take a quick commercial break, and then when we come back from that, we'll get into looking ahead at the Week 7 matchups. And then, of course, we still have NFL to go over. We got Thursday Night Football going on right now. The Niners just scored 29-17. It'll be 30, pending an extra point here, 6:20 to go in the game. But yeah, we'll take a commercial, come back, get back into things. Of course, we still got Rock Hard Takes coming as well. So stick around. Listen to Rock Hard Ball for the Dogs Media Network at Culture Ball Dogs. We'll be right back.
On the College Football Dogs website, you'll find a main page that features some of our biggest and newest stories. Our conference pages for content related to your favorite team's conference. Our team store, where we have products that are available all year long, as well as gear available for a limited time only. Our podcast page, where you can see when one of the 12 plus College Football Dogs podcasts is streaming live on social media. Our subscription page, where you can join our Discord. If you're interested in becoming a contributor at College Football Dogs, email us at info@collegefootballdogs.com. If you enjoy any College Football Dogs content, we really do appreciate any donations you can make by visiting the donate page on our website or scanning the QR code here.
College Football Dogs, for the fans.
All right, welcome back. Rock Hard Ball for the Dogs Media Network at College Football Dogs. It's kind of heard in the commercial. Go check out the website, collegefootballdogs.com. Lots of great articles and stuff going up there. Also, make sure you check out our socials scrolling across the bottom there at Rock Hard Ball or at Rock Hard Ball Pod on virtually every major platform. So check that stuff out as well, especially for nights like tonight when normally we're live at 9 p.m. Central Time Mondays and Thursdays, but tonight we went half an hour late with the kind of different studio setup. Kind of liking it. I think it's going fairly well so far. So maybe
I don't like the two people who are looking right at us while we're doing this and talking.
I think it's kind of fun to have a little bit of a live audience here. Get a little bit of feedback.
It's nerve-wracking. Getting dirty looks every once in a while. I don't like it.
Oh wow! At least you didn't get memed onto a fucking porn screenshot like I did. So that happened. That was fun. So thanks, Jason, for that. Yeah, back to business here. College football. So we got Utah playing Arizona State this week. A little bit of a big match for the Big 12. Obviously,
is Cam Rising playing again or no?
You'll probably have to find out 5 minutes before game time.
Okay. So that answers no.
He either has 2 torn ACLs or he's going to throw for 450 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Okay.
So, but it is a notable game in the Big 12. Both these teams are 4-1, 1-1 in conference play. Obviously, the top 2 teams probably by most people's count right now. Well, I'd say top 3. I would say are Iowa State, BYU, and Kansas State, right?
Yeah.
Because Utah's kind of fallen out after that bad loss. Oklahoma State has completely fallen out. We didn't even mention that in the recap. Oklahoma State lost again. They got pounded by West Virginia, so they're completely gone and out of there. A couple Big 12 teams this year have been very disappointing. Kansas opened up the year ranked; they're 1-5, and then Oklahoma State opened the year top 15.
Yep.
Guy who was one of the favorites for the Heisman, Ollie Gordon, hasn't looked good, so they're in a bad spot. But Utah, obviously, season not over by any means yet. If you get Cam Rising back, they can be right back in the playoff talks.
Should we start the college football poster or cover curse going on yet? Donovan Edwards is on the cover. He's not their starting running back.
Top 3 Heisman candidate.
Oh shit! I forgot that he's on it. Yeah. Wait,
Ewers got hurt.
I forgot Ollie Gordon wasn't on it. Yeah, but Ewers got hurt. For some reason I thought Ollie Gordon was also on there, and he sucked and picked up a DUI.
Yeah.
He didn't need to put in the last part, but it felt necessary at
times. Yeah, no, a little bit of hate. Also, shout out Georgia once again.
They got to figure that.
They had another player it was driving again, wasn't it?
No, it was. So the part I'm going to say is not funny. So we stop like, no, it was. He beat the shit out of a pregnant woman.
Oh, okay. So I thought it was driving again.
Kirby Smart's
which would have been a lot.
This is it's funny to joke about.
The driving one would have been funny. That one's not as funny.
Yeah, but the whole it's just a team full of criminals. We got to figure it out. At some point, we do have to start saying hey, Kirby Smart, what's going on with your team?
Yeah, you're not. It's not the 2000s anymore. You can't really get away with this like Miami and Florida did.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's figure it out. But anyways, back to basics here. Alabama's gonna play South Carolina at home. Look for a bounce back here. They're favored by 21.
Yeah, I gotta say that's an early. Wait, we don't even have bets, so
I don't have any.
I'm just gonna. I'm gonna rip some right now. My first one of the day is gonna be Bama minus 21. If it was Saban coaching, I'd say that they'd win by 70.
They'd probably be favored by 30 plus.
Yeah, but I still think this is going to be a huge bounce back. Shut everybody up. Alabama's still a good team. I like Alabama by 30 plus in that one.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Clemson's going to go to Wake Forest. They're favored by 20.5. Don't really feel like I can spend any time there. Same with Missouri. Going to Massachusetts, favored by 27. We got the Red River rivalry, which is maybe a little bit more lopsided than it's been in years past. Probably the most lopsided it's been since maybe the Baker, Oklahoma days when Texas was a little bit down.
Thinking last year.
Oh, yeah.
Ewers versus Gabriel. Was that game not? Do you remember what the score was last year?
No.
Pretty sure it was a very good game. I thought it was a very close game.
Well, I'm saying it's probably the most lopsided it's been a while in terms of especially Texas's favor.
I'm saying since probably last year.
That's not lopsided. I'm saying like I think most people expect Texas.
Yeah,
I mean, right?
Yeah. You're probably right.
That's what I was getting at. It's like
I swear to God, you said something differently.
no, I think I said lopsided the whole time in terms of like a lopsided victory and a team's gonna be favored by a lot. Texas favored by 14.5. Also, I guess we just first comment. Shout out Terry. What's up, guys? What's up, Terry? Good to have you in here. Don't think we've seen you in the comments before, so always good to pop a cherry on the comments.
What do you say? Just what's up?
You said what's up, yeah.
What's up, Terry?
But yeah, Texas favored by 14.5. Yours is back now, right?
I should be, yes.
But yeah, I would expect them to win this game by a lot against Oklahoma. Again, Oklahoma got handled pretty well by Tennessee. I think Texas is a better team than Tennessee, so I think that's probably going to be a fairly win for Texas.
I agree with that.
Unless the one way I could maybe see it a little closer than it should be is if Ewers is first week back, a little bit rusty. Never know. Penn State is going to play USC. That's a big game. We talked about a little bit. Penn State's only favored by 3.5.
So Vegas agrees with me. Vegas agrees that Penn State sucks, which is true to they ranked Michigan. They ranked Michigan number 10 when everybody in the world probably said that they shouldn't, and then favored a bad Washington team, and Washington won by 10. Like, this is a difference between Vegas and the AP poll. AP poll's telling us that Penn State's a top 4 team in the country, and Vegas is telling us they're not even close to a top 4 team in the country.
Yeah, I also still though don't think that USC is good. Is the problem. So that's why.
Yes, which is exactly why the spread on 3 tells me that Vegas thinks Penn State's awful. Not awful, just complete frauds and not a great football team.
Yeah, I do think Penn State wins this game. Again, yeah, it's two teams that I just don't have a lot of belief in. So I'm interested to see how it goes. But I think at the end of the day, Penn State does have more talent overall. So
yeah, they do.
I think that they'll get the win. But yeah, I think the 3.5 spread is fine. Terry in here again saying that he predicts UCLA gets back on the winning track. They play Minnesota, who just knocked off USC. So hard to say. That might be a tougher game. Looking preseason UCLA schedule, you would probably say this is one of their best chances for a win. Now, a little harder to say. Minnesota might just be a decent team. Played Michigan really close. Beat USC. Obviously, both those teams are.
Those teams look to be pretty bad.
Those aren't bad teams.
No, they're not. No, you're right. But yeah, I think we hit on it perfectly. I mean, I still think Penn State wins this.
Yeah,
but it's again, if it's a nail biter, I'm going to continue. My opinion that Penn State's not a good football team.
Jerry's in the comments as well. Loving the change of scenery tonight. Dudes being dudes with couch talk for sure.
Thanks, Jerry.
Is Jerry in the room with us?
No, I'm just imagining he is
in spirit.
Jerry and Terry, just what a dynamic duo.
Yeah, but moving forward here, Stanford and Notre Dame. Yearly rivalry. Notre Dame's here by 22.5. I think they should win that one big. Cal's going to go to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh obviously coming off a big win. They're 5-0. They might be one of the most quiet teams I think so far in the ACC. I haven't really played anybody too terribly tough. Their best win probably so far is West Virginia, maybe at home.
Yeah, probably.
They also beat North Carolina on the road, but again, North Carolina's looked really bad at times. But they're undefeated. They're favored by 3 against Cal. Cal's been also kind of a feisty team in the ACC, so we'll see how that one goes. But I think Pittsburgh -3 is a pretty fair line. Illinois is favored by 21.5 against Purdue. Again, that's one that I kind of like a little bit to bet on because it's just so bad.
Yeah, they're awful.
But I don't know at the same time if Illinois quite has the offensive firepower to really blow them out hard.
I think they do. I think Allmeyer's good enough.
Yeah.
So
you could maybe see an Altmaier Bryant huge game, two on or so.
I mean, they looked really good offensively until the last 2 weeks. So, and in the last 2 weeks, they play teams who I think are good teams.
Yeah,
we all know Purdue sucks. I think that they could put up a decent amount of points here.
Yeah, Arizona and BYU. Arizona again, the Big 12 and ACC both wide open. And Arizona was the one in the Big 12 that we said, maybe the game against K-State was just not a good game from them on the road. Tough time. Then they go into Utah and win when Utah was 10 in the country at the time. But then they turn right back around, lose to Texas Tech. So they've already just kind of fallen back a little bit. BYU, just stay on track here. You're favored by 3. Just keep winning. And I think you're, control your own destiny.
100%.
Championship game, get a playoff spot. Georgia is favored by 34 against Mississippi State. Mississippi State is terrible.
They're awful.
So I'm not gonna kind of browse over the game because we're just about to the big games here. Tennessee looking to bounce back against Florida, favored by 15. again, pretty fair line, I think. Florida up and down this year for sure.
I haven't watched. I can't remember. Are they fully gone on the Lagway, or are they still doing this, bullshit where it's like Graham Mertz and then also Lagway?
Okay, I think a little bit. But they're coming up a game win streak. Obviously they played with A&M a little bit a couple weeks ago. So Florida, you never know. Maybe they can still put up a little bit of a fight, but I would think that Tennessee probably wins this one big. Just based off of gut feeling. Finally, let's get to the two big games here, both in the 6:30 p.m. slots. One's going to be on NBC, one's going to be on ABC. The bigger one, of course, is going to be Ohio State and Oregon, our first top 3 matchup of the season, right? I don't think Alabama was top 3 when them Georgia played, right?
No, they were 4.
Yeah, so Ohio State at 2, Oregon at 3. Ohio State's going to be favored by 3 on the road, which, again, I think is probably pretty fair. They've definitely looked a little bit more dominant in their games than Oregon. But like you said, Oregon's looked a lot better the last couple of weeks.
Am I crazy for saying Oregon wins this game?
Think they win?
Yeah, I mean, at home is huge. Obviously, it doesn't really count, but 2021, Oregon wasn't a great team, went into Columbus, beat them. My whole thing with this is like, yeah, fine. Ohio State's looked better than Oregon. Oregon's played the tougher opponents. And again, if you're Ohio State, you cannot sleep in the first half, or else that crowd's going to take you out of this. I'm not going to put any money on this because I don't know, but it totally would not shock me if Oregon wins this game outright.
I don't know. I don't know if I'll go that far. I still think Ohio State's a really good team,
which is huge.
Yeah, definitely plays a factor. I think it'll be a great game. I'm excited to watch it. It's hard to make a pick on it. I guess if I had to, I'll take Ohio State narrowly. Terry said he's going to ride with you a little bit here. He says that Oregon's going to beat Ohio State by 10. So he really thinks that Oregon's got it in the bag here. And then 2025 is our year. So he's got that Twins player in the profile picture. That's delusional. Money is already on Ohio State -7.
-7.
So 2025 is our year. Is riding.
I don't think 2025 is our year. Guy knows how to gamble because the line's 3 right now.
Taking alt spread, I think so.
2025, this is our year. If you could tell us what those odds are, I'd love to know. So you can just drop those in the comments real quick.
Yeah, he did clarify alt line. +160.
Oh, that's still awful value to me.
Yeah, it's not great.
4 points to so then what's plus -3?
I'm sure it's probably
minus
plus 100 probably or something, or plus or minus 100. I'm guessing.
Well, if it was plus 100, you would think that line would drop more.
I'm just guessing because usually
I'd guess the guy
usually spreads are somewhere between
guess
plus and minus 100.
2025 is our year. Is probably not a great gambler.
Yeah. All right. Number 9, Ole Miss. Number 13, LSU. LSU's finally gonna get tested. Ole Miss is favored by 3.5. So I think that this is a great chance for. I think this would be a good bet probably. I don't think LSU's good. I think Ole Miss's one loss is a little bit of a fluke to a degree. I think they're still a very good team. I like Jackson Dart a lot. I like Lane Kiffin a lot. I think that Ole Miss wins this game, and I wouldn't be surprised if we win by a couple scores.
Yeah, I agree. I'm never gonna root for Jackson Dart. But yeah, I think Ole Miss wins probably by a lot. Like we've mentioned, week 1, or yeah, it was week 1. LSU's not good.
2025 is our year. Was I guess very disappointed in our thoughts on his betting prowess because he said he unsubscribed. So I guess we lost a listener. But you know what? If you're not a ball knower, then you probably don't deserve to be here anyways. So
well, no, if he wins that bet,
if he wins that bet, we'll
I'll fully, forget about what I said.
Yeah. Okay. And then Terry says he's taking LSU in an overtime win. Again, I just don't like that.
Yeah, I don't like that bet, Terry.
Terry,
I'd advise against that.
Yeah, I'm gonna advise against that as well. Not a big fan of the LSU team really at all this year. I think they're a decent team. I'm sure I don't know what their schedule looks like, but I would think that they'll probably win maybe 8, maybe 9 at the most games. But still, I think playing the SEC, you're gonna have probably a lot of tough matchups. I don't love this team at all. I'm actually gonna look at their schedule. They play at Texas A&M on the road. They got Alabama at home. And then they have Oklahoma at home. They have Vanderbilt at home. That could be interesting. On the road at Arkansas. A lot of opportunities, I think, for LSU to drop games. But
yeah.
All right, back to this week. Iowa State, tough game, I think. They're up to 11 in the country now. They got to go to West Virginia, who's been, again, a team that's no easy out this year. Obviously, Penn State kind of took care of business against them early in the year. They lost on the road to Pitt by 4, but Pitt's now proven to be a pretty solid team. They're ranked now at 22. They just kicked the shit out of Oklahoma State last week, 38-14. They beat Kansas a couple weeks ago, which, again, Kansas is 1-5, but still a lot of talent on that roster. So, interesting game here for Iowa State. They're favored by 3. I would like to think, just based on the teams that are playing, I think Iowa State's probably still good enough to win.
That's going to be my second bet of the week. I'm going to take Iowa State solely for the continuous, opinion that Penn State sucks. So Penn State to do this team at home, or technically on the road at West Virginia, shall I say. Beat the shit out of them. I think Iowa State has proven week in and week out that they're a very good football team. I think 3 is too low, so add that one to the docket.
Terry's defending his LSU pick here, by the way. He said, I think Ole Miss is on the verge of a collapse, to be honest. Sounds crazy, I know, but I just have this feeling. I feel like not, because I feel like if there was a quote unquote collapse, it kind of already happened.
Yeah. No, they dropped a bad. They dropped a bad game, which Kentucky has proven all year that they play teams close. Like, I don't like that logic going, because you can do that with every single team in the nation.
Yeah.
Every single one-loss team. You can be like, well, I think they're due for a collapse. I don't think Alabama's due for a collapse. I think it was a fluke. Just like I think Ole Miss probably slept walk through that game. Lane Kiffin was probably doing too many TikToks with sorority girls. So no, I think they're going to bounce back and they're going to be fine. Yeah.
Shout out Lane's daughter, Smoke. But moving forward here, Kansas State, Colorado. K-State's favored by 3.5. Colorado somehow at this point in the season has found themselves at 4-1. Do you remember who they lost to?
I do. Nebraska.
Okay, yeah. Was it close?
No, it was a bloodbath at halftime.
Okay, yeah. I forgot about that. But yeah, they somehow found their way to 4 wins, though, after, they narrowly beat FCS North Dakota State, and then they lose Nebraska, and then they beat Colorado State, Baylor, and UCF. Again, none of them are world beaters, but they have bounced back for sure, and got some wins. So a little bit of an interesting game for Kansas State. Obviously, they had that bad loss to BYU on the road. We'll see. I would like to think that they win this game by more. I think I would probably bet
third bet on the docket for me. So I'm all 3 college football is locked in.
Okay, yeah. I haven't really technically locked any in. I'll just write mine down after the show, I guess, because I haven't paid enough attention to actually locking any. But yeah, I think Kansas State wins by more as well. There's probably a very good chance I would go with that too. I don't know if I will, since you already took it. But finally, last game, nightcap, Boise State's going to go to Hawaii. They're favored at 20.5. 20.5 is a lot for a Group 5 team against no matter who they're playing, it seems like. But I think there's a very good chance that covers at over under 16.5. So,
well, yeah.
I think a lot of
and Gentie's probably 28.
Yeah.
28 of those points.
For sure. Let's see. A couple more comments here from Terry. He said, don't get me wrong, I was hoping Ole Miss would go undefeated going into play Bama. Yeah, would have been an exciting game. And then K-State is going to pretend Colorado's the new Oklahoma and beat them.
I don't hate that take.
Yeah.
Again, it's like I don't care if Colorado's good or bad. You're going to continuously go into that game wanting to beat them because it's Colorado. Everybody knows who's on that team. Everybody knows how annoying they are. You're going to want to beat them.
Yeah. Does Michigan play this week, or are they on bye?
Bye week.
Okay, yeah. So is Nebraska. So don't get anything to do with our 2 favorite teams. Outside of the top 25 matchups, not gonna lie, didn't go too in depth with the rest of this slate in terms of looking for other matchups that are worth noting. So I'm kind of trying to scroll through some of the conferences here to see if there's any that are intriguing. I guess Louisville goes on the road to Virginia, who's somehow 4-1. Maybe could be a little bit interesting. Syracuse and NC State play also in the ACC. Again, maybe could be an interesting game between 2 teams who are kind of just middle of the pack in that conference, just fighting to be in that upper tier, maybe some bowl eligibility. And other than that, I don't think there's really anything else. SEC. Yeah, no. Vanderbilt and Kentucky. That could be a fun game. 2 teams that have been very
What's the spread on that one?
Big wins. Kentucky minus 13.5.
Yeah, that actually does make sense.
Yeah, I think they get some votes in the poll this week. I feel like they probably did. Yeah, they got 1 vote, so not quite yet, but
it's a big time vote.
Big time vote. Shout out, I guess, Jackoff from College Football Dogs. He thinks that Kentucky should be ranked right now, which probably don't want to go too.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to go there. But
3-2. And then again, they got that win against Ole Miss, I know, but still not a big time believer. Terry says he's always hated Colorado prior to Sanders, since they were in the Pac-12 with his Bruins. So shout out Terry for being a generational hater.
Yeah.
We can feel you a little bit there, Terry. Nebraska fans didn't grow up a Nebraska fan, but I understand the hatred from the history of the teams. So let's take another just quick break here before we get into NFL. I know the previews there were pretty quick. Not a lot of huge matchups this week, but there are 2 very big ones. Again, with Oregon, Ohio State, and then LSU and Ole Miss. But we'll take another quick break. When we come back, we'll talk NFL, talk about what happened this past week, and then we'll get into the upcoming week in the NFL. Again, Thursday Night Football still going on. I don't know what happened earlier when I said that San Francisco scored. I don't know if they went for 2, didn't get it.
No, the guy fell.
What happened?
The guy just took a knee.
On the extra point?
What are we talking about?
Okay, they went for 2.
They went for 2 and didn't get it. You should know that.
I couldn't see.
Kyle Juszczyk.
Yeah, and there's the dagger from Kyle Juszczyk. Seahawks actually somehow were kind of
why
at the end.
Why didn't they just take knees? I did not see any timeouts down there.
They had 1 left now.
Is it a shitty score bug? Okay, yeah, shitty score bug.
Okay. All right. Well, 49ers just won.
That's his wife.
That's his wife. She makes like jackets and stuff. So,
yeah.
Yeah, she's kind of popular on Twitter. All right, let's go commercial. We'll come back. We'll get into NFL. Once again, you listen to Rock Our Ball, part of the Dogs Media Network at Culturable Dogs, and we'll be right back.
On the College Football Dogs website, you'll find a main page that features some of our biggest and newest stories. Our conference pages for content related to your favorite team's conference. Our team store, where we have products that are available all year long, as well as gear available for a limited time only. Our podcast page, where you can see when one of the 12 plus College Football Dogs podcasts is streaming live on social media. Our subscription page, where you can join our Discord. If you're interested in becoming a contributor at College Football Dogs, email us at info@collegefootballdogs.com. If you enjoy any College Football Dogs content, we really do appreciate any donations you can make by visiting the donate page on our website or scanning the QR code here.
College Football Dogs, for the fans.
All right, welcome back to Rock Our Ball. Again, check out the website, collegefootballdogs.com. Game previews and recaps every week, breaking news, all that good stuff. So check it out for any of that. We're getting to NFL, though, now. First things first, we're going to get through what happened last week. So we were talking about Thursday Night Football, but in case you forgot, Falcons won 36-30 in overtime. Kirk Chains threw for over 500 yards and 4 touchdowns. So that's notable. Oh my God, how did you take that to the house right for sad? But getting to Sunday, we had our first London game of the year. Vikings stay undefeated. They went 23-17 over the Jets, who are in trouble. With a little disastrous.
Do the wash narratives? Like, are we gonna start talking about them?
Yep, a little bit of a wash narrative here with Aaron Rodgers. At the same time, though, I will defend him a little bit. Why are we asking a 40-year-old quarterback to throw it 54 times a game when you have 2 like the best young running backs in the NFL?
Yeah, I mean, I just he's probably not washed. It's not a good football team. Like, the media.
Not a good offense for sure.
No, not at all. We should probably just bring up the news right away.
Yeah, so they fired Saleh. They also demoted Nathaniel Hackett. They stripped play calling duties, which was weird because the initial report was that, well, not report necessarily, but like kind of like rumor mill, was Rodgers heard that Saleh was thinking about stripping play calling duties from Hackett and maybe even firing him straight up. And then so Rodgers,
because they're like huge, butt buddies and stuff like that.
And so Rodgers went over Saleh's head, got him fired, so he couldn't do that. But then after Saleh got fired, Hackett still lost play calling duties. So I don't really know what's going on there. Rodgers says that he had no idea that Saleh was going to be fired,
which is just bullshit.
Those two obviously have been butting heads pretty much all season. So that's what's going on in New York right now, which is wild. They're 2-3, and they still have a chance next week if they win to take the division lead.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make sense to me.
Which is also just weird how that division ended up, because it looked like coming into the year could have been one of the best divisions in football. Ended up being one of the worst because, I mean, Buffalo started off the season hot, but now has struggled against teams that are, good. Then the Jets, of course, haven't lived up to standards at all.
Miami isn't fully there. I mean, that team is just, they're last place. And
also speaking of the Patriots,
Drake May.
Yeah, Drake May. Let's just, I guess, maybe hit on that really quick right now. They lost the Dolphins last week, 15-10, and May did enter the game late. And now they are officially going to roll with him next week. So we'll talk about that a little bit more in the preview, but we'll say that right away. But yeah, Vikings continue to win. Can't take it away from them. Obviously, the Jets haven't looked good, but the Vikings, yeah, they're just all they do is win, baby.
Yeah, they're so annoying.
I want to hold off so bad on saying that they're actually good, but at a certain
point, I'm still not going to be there. Nope.
5-0 though, so I don't know. Got to give them their flowers a little bit there. I think they're at this point, you can probably pencil them in as like will 100% be in the playoff conversation and should be a playoff team at this point.
I mean, yeah, they'll be in the
It's hard to
playoff
miss- it's hard to
conversation.
miss the
I just don't
playoffs.
think they're a very good team.
Hard to miss the playoffs and start
Okay,
5.
so who have they played though? Can we go like total schedule rundown?
So they play the Giants,
Bad.
49ers.
Not looking good. Like they're gonna win. They're gonna be 3-3. They're banged up. Not a very good football team at this point.
Piss all over the Texans. That was by far the best win.
Okay, yeah.
Horrible game from the Texans, but still. Beat the Packers.
Fine. I mean, it was J Love's
first game back.
You know, the mud pit.
Packers also gave them every opportunity to just beat them by like 40 in that game, and they still somehow had a close game there.
Yeah.
And then this Jets game. So yeah, not the most impressive wins, but still, I'll give them a little bit of props. It's hard to win in the NFL. So if you can get wins, you still deserve a little bit of props. Terry asked who we root for. College Terry. We both go to the University of Nebraska. So we're both Nebraska fans. Weezy's kind of not a full-on Nebraska fan though. He grew up a Michigan fan, so
I'm a Michigan fan.
still
Yeah.
a hardcore Michigan fan, but he does root for Nebraska. Anytime that they're not playing Michigan, basically. And then as far as NFL goes, I'm a Packers fan, and Weezy's a Lions fan. So might be a little bit of the reason we're hating on the Vikings a little bit. Maybe it's a little bit of in-division hatred, but yeah, that is who we root for. Back to the NFL though, we can move past that game. The Bears looked good. They won 36-10 against the Panthers. Caleb Williams, good game. 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, 20 for 29. The Andy Dalton hysteria came to a grinding halt.
Yeah, which we saw that one coming.
Bryce Young came in at the end of the game.
Yeah, he looks fine too. But again, I
He had
think
the one really nice throw.
Yep.
Down the sideline.
Caleb Williams fully dialed in, I would say. They finally just let him throw. DJ Moore's been a lot better, not being a little bitch on the sidelines anymore. So good for him. If you're a Bears fan, it's just gotta be so painful to know though. It's like, okay, so we finally get our guy, and he is looking like the guy. He's probably gonna shatter the Bears passing yards like in his rookie year, I would imagine, right? Back-to-back 300-yard weeks. I think that's kind of the standard.
It's not even 4,000.
Yeah, they don't have is it 3? Like
It's 3. It's 3 something.
Yeah. But basically, they don't even.
He's already at 1,000.
Yeah, they don't have a run game, so they're gonna call to him a lot, and it's like, okay, Vikings aren't supposed to be good, and they're still gonna be smack dad because I don't care. Bears fans can holler at me all you want. The Packers are still a better football team. I think, despite what the Vikings are doing, I would still say most sane NFL fans will say this division's probably gonna come down to Lions Packers. I would imagine. So if you're a Bears fan, it's just gotta struggle to. They're looking unbelievable, and it's just like, all right, well, we're in the best division of football.
Yep. Yeah. NFC North definitely has been the best division of football, I think, that most people could admit so far this year. Ravens and Bengals, big game there. Bengals had a chance. They were up for pretty much the entire game. They get outscored by 3 in the fourth quarter to force overtime, and then the Ravens end up winning on a field goal after the Bengals turned it over. I was listening to part of my take on my drive back from Kansas City, and they said it well. I think it was Big Cat that was saying it's like Joe Burrow has to play perfect for the Bengals to win games against good teams, and even in this game where he played it damn near perfect,
One
mistake, and they lose.
Yeah,
so they're in a kind of tough spot. That roster just appears to not be very great right now. The defense is in particular. Oh my gosh, I can't talk. In particular, the defense hasn't looked good, so they need to get it together. Otherwise, they're going to lose.
I have a bone to pick with Lamar Jackson. Sunday morning comes around. Roommate and I go for a little stroll, get some coffee. We're thinking, all right, let's just pick a few guys, get in the end zone, parlay together, win a lot of money. We pick our guys. I think it was 10 to win 400 or 500, something like that. Everybody else, clean as day, they get in the end zone, no stress. Lamar Jackson, just to get in the end zone. I don't even think he moved back there. He's like, I'm just going to be a pocket passer today. Plays at the 1. We're going to go play action, roll out, dump it off to the tight end. So fuck Lamar Jackson. You robbed me of a lot of money.
All right. Weezy not a fan of Lamar. We talked about Dolphins, Patriots. Commanders continue to look good. Won 34-13 over the Browns. I don't know what the hell's going on there. They have to, put Deshaun Watson, the criminal, the creep, on the bench at some point. But they just refuse to. I think it's not.
I don't think it's Stefanski. I think it's the owners and the front office. Yeah. I mean, what was the mistake? Still playing him? Or $230 million guaranteed to a rapist.
Yeah.
Probably the second option, but it's
Especially a guy that like everybody in the league loves.
it's bad news bears over there, man.
What are you like laughing at?
I was laughing at this two
Okay.
spectators
Okay.
over there.
But yeah, Commanders continue to roll. Jaden Daniels continues to look fantastic. Jaguars finally won.
Yeah.
For the first time in forever.
Shout out T-Law. He played a great game.
Yeah, played a good game, 28 for 34, 371 yards, and a couple touchdowns. Also, shout out Tank Bigsby. That one run was ridiculous.
Yeah, that was crazy.
He's thunder down the field. And shout out his offensive lineman just like pushing him like down the field. Yeah, they finally got a win 37 to 34. The Colts tried to come back at the end. They scored 24 there.
This is the second straight season where Joe Flacco comes in and looks better.
God.
There's got to be a team that I should probably start for, right?
Yeah.
Colts maybe being
he was
one of
actually
them. Anthony
Richardson. He was on a team last year that he came in for, played really good, made the playoffs with them, and then they
got rid
I think they went back to a rapist. Yeah. So yeah, great job, Browns. Shout out to one of the best front offices really in NFL history. Yeah, Terry said how many years does Watson have left?
A lot, right?
Hopefully, like life.
How many does he actually have?
I don't know.
Maybe not that much.
It was 4 years, I think, when he got traded, which was 22.
21. Wasn't it 21? But he got suspended for a whole year. Did he ever get he had to have gotten suspended, right?
I don't know if he was technically suspended. I think he just wasn't playing because he just didn't want to play in Houston. Or was he? I don't know. I don't remember. I'll try and look it up. I'm one-handed here. We had a spectator look that up. Stand-in producer / beer boy Nathan. Could you look up when was Deshaun Watson ever suspended? And also, when was he traded to the Browns?
He got traded in 2021. I'm almost positive of that.
Okay, yeah, he was suspended for the first 11 games of the 2022 season, fined $5 million by the NFL.
Okay, so
he also did not play a snap in 2021. So he didn't play for over a year and a half.
Right, so if you are a sexual predator, you get 11 games. If you gamble on college football, like Jameson Williams, you get 4 to 6. And then if you drive your car and commit 8 felonies over just a short summer break, you're allowed to play, baby.
Yeah.
So NFL might want to start, policies seem a little off.
Yeah, Goodell knows what's up. He knows what he's doing. Anyways, let's see. Terry had a couple more comments here. Flacco will sign a 5-year, $500 million deal with the Dolphins. That would make sense.
Know about that.
I mean, definitely won't, but I think that's kind of like just a little bit of a poke at the previous years where we have like a quarterback play good 1 year and then somebody gives him way too big of a contract.
If you're the Dolphins, like I get you just went Huntley. It has not fixed anything. That offense is still like in a loop. You could pretty much probably trade for Flacco for damn near nothing.
Yeah, probably like a 6th.
Why would you not go do that?
Yeah, I don't know. Doesn't make sense. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. So Terry's also kind of just following up with some of the Deshaun stuff. Just confirming. Anyways, back to I guess some of the games. Texas won 23-20 over the Bills. Again, Bills have struggled now with the teams that are just good. Another good game from CJ Stroud and just from the Texans overall. Again, they had one bad loss against the Vikings, but other than that, they've looked really good all year.
Big news in that one. Nico Collins goes down with a hamstring, officially put on the IR. So I don't think that'll hurt them like too bad. Obviously,
it just makes that Diggs trade so much bigger.
Yeah, because obviously you lost. I think it's at this point fairly easy to say that Nico Collins was the best receiver in the league. But you lose him, you still got guys like Diggs and Tank Dell. So I don't think that it'll be that big of a factor.
No, they're not in too much trouble. Broncos business against the Raiders, 34-18. Bo Nix looked good again. And then also the Raiders benched Minshew this one, put in AOC, and then they have already confirmed that he's going to start next week. So
who, AOC?
Yeah.
Okay.
But again, I'm not going to spend too much time there. Raiders aren't too exciting, but shout out to the Broncos. They do look solid. Cardinals beat the 49ers 24-23. I mean, it's one where it felt like the Niners should have won, probably had the better roster, but same time, they're a little banged up. They bounced back, obviously, just now on Thursday Night Football, got the win. So, but Cardinals, again, we've said it all year, they're going to be a tough out for any team any week. They continue to prove it, getting that win against the Niners. So, good win for them. Giants beat the Seahawks 29-20. Seahawks were riding high for like a couple weeks this season. Weren't they undefeated at one point?
Yeah, going to Detroit. Which is probably the bigger news out of this. You've seen the stat of the Detroit hangover?
No.
Beer Boy is shaking his head yes. This is a crazy stat. If you could actually pull up like the full like point getting outscored. So somebody's been going back since week 1. Teams who play Detroit the very next week expect them to lose in like horrific fashion. I don't know if it's just because teams are overloading, prep to try to beat Detroit. Week 1 Rams play close to Detroit. Week 1 opening Sunday Night Football, get throttled in the second week. Who do they lose to? I forgot who they got killed by week 2. The Rams.
Who?
The Rams.
Cardinals.
Yeah, bad. Okay. Okay.
Good try, Beer Boy.
Who did Detroit play week 3? Now I'm already blanking. Oh, they lost to the Buccaneers, right?
Yep.
They got shredded by Denver. Week 4,
Seahawks.
Play them close, lose to the Giants.
Yep.
It's like I don't know what's going on with it, but every single team who plays Detroit the next week just doesn't show up.
Yeah, weird.
It's weird.
And Seahawks now fall 3-3. Just really, a crazy situation. The Niners were 2-3. What were they even before that? Weren't there a point where they 1-2 maybe? Yeah, 1-2, and they're at 2-3. And at the point that they're 1-2, the Seahawks were 3-0. And then now all of a sudden, they are both 3-3, and the Niners lead the NFC West. So right back where we kind of thought they would be. Packers beat the Rams 24-19. Love again played much better in the second half in this one than he did in the first half. But the Packers, still looked better overall, I think, in this one than they did in that Vikings game. They continue to run the ball well. The defense is super impressive. I think Xavier McKinney has a real argument to be like, if you called Defensive Player of the Year right now, he'd probably win it.
Yeah.
He's picked off a pass in every single
Reminds
game.
me just a lot of that Diggs year. He had like how many pick sixes
I
did
don't know.
Diggs have that year?
But yeah, just picks overall, he had a lot.
Yeah.
No, Packers fans have been saying like this is probably the most impactful free agent signing that we've had since Charles Woodson at the same position. So it's an exciting time. I'm still very, very confident in this Packers team. Like you said, I think they are still definitely in the top 2 in the NFC North. Think they might still compete to win the division. But yeah, I think Love's only going to continue to play better as he gets kind of back in the flow of things here. Weird kind of situation that we had with the Packers this past week though with Romeo Dobbs, who just didn't show up to practices and meetings.
Yeah, and then there was videos this week of like him and LaFleur having like issues supposedly.
I don't know. It was kind of a weird situation. It's a wide receiver room that you just don't want to be deep in.
Yeah.
Like they have so many guys in that room.
Nobody's a star.
Yeah,
it's just
I actually will disagree with that a little bit. I think Jaden Reed is pretty close to establish himself as
Jaden Reed is the best. I don't think he's a star though.
I think he's borderline getting there. He's been very, very good.
Yeah, he's a stud. He was a stud at Michigan State. I just hit on his name, so I want to bring this up. Do you think Packers bring in Saleh for some sort of adversary?
They might.
He was LaFleur's best man, right?
He's been like best friends with LaFleur. They've coached together before. I would guess that
he gets
either the Packers
role.
I would guess the Packers, the Rams, the Niners, one of the 3 bring him in some way.
Yeah,
because those guys are all just like best friends. We all know they all coach together. So yes, I would definitely think that one of them bring him in. I think honestly, if the Jets had fired him in the offseason, he'd probably be the Packers defensive coordinator right now. But still very happy that they brought in Halfley. I think he's done a great job. The defense has been much improved, which is what this team needed this year. So again, yeah, I don't know. It's seemed to have been some weird negativity around the Packers where it's like we won 2 games with Malik Willis, and then Love came back, looked a little rusty against
I think and you can argue with me if you want, because I'm going to kind of rebat this. I think the problem is like people are shit talking like what's going on now is because you won 2 games with Willis because you're like, okay, well, we're not going to trust him too much. We're going to run the ball. We're going to play smart football. And then Love comes back. And it's like, okay, here's Jordan Love. He's like an MVP, potential candidate. Let's just start slinging this thing around. It's like, well, no, you guys won with Malik Willis, which is the definition of we don't need to throw the ball. Like, we don't have to. It might be boring. Might not put up stats, but like, we signed a good running back. Just pound the rock.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And yeah, maybe a little bit of a criticism
against hurt you in the ass too when Jordan Love is clearly rusty and turning the ball over a little too much.
Yeah, no, I think once Love is fully back in the swing of things, gets a couple more, games under his belt, stuff like that.
I think it's the same criticism for Detroit fans. When that week 3 loss to Tampa Bay, I would say I don't think it's far-fetched to say Detroit is the best running back duo in the league, paired with arguably the best O-line. and they had Goff throw the ball 56 times. And
Yeah,
they
it
lose.
doesn't make sense.
Like, why? So now you're looking at 1-2 games. The opponents weren't great. I get that. Like Jordan Love, like ease him back in. We don't need to ask him to do too much.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with you there. Terry said that SoFi Field seemed like Green Bay's practice field. Yeah. Packers do travel well. They might have a big following in California, like you mentioned, Terry. But also, like there's just evidence week in and week out. Like, why the hell did you ever move the Rams?
Yeah,
like
sense.
Even like Chargers, a little bit makes more sense. Like San Diego, there was never really a huge fan base there to begin with, and they didn't move that far. St. Louis loved your team. Like they're so happy to have you there, and you moved to Los Angeles where they just don't care about you.
You don't have a home game.
Yeah, so it is so stupid. Yeah, I don't know. Well, it's a discussion for a different day.
There were two teams in California who worked out, like I would say, pretty well. The Niners are always going to have a huge fan base because of the history.
Mhm.
And then when they were still there, still shout out the city, feel bad for them. Oakland had a huge fan base there too. It's like we don't need these two fake LA teams.
Yeah. Also, we kind of already mentioned New York Seattle game, but I will say like shout out to the Giants specifically. They won without their starting running back and their best wide receiver. Darius Slayton had a big game, 8 catches for 120 yards and a touchdown. Tyrone Tracy had 18 carries for 129 yards. And Danny Dimes, took care of the ball, didn't turn it over at all in this one. So I think he did fumble it once, but they got it back. So shout out to the Giants for actually, winning the game against a team that wasn't, too bad. Sunday Night Football got delayed forever.
It was brutal.
It started an hour and a half late. The game didn't go over until past midnight on the East Coast. Do you remember what time it was actually officially when it ended?
I think 1 East Coast. It was like 1:15.
Yeah, it might have even been midnight here in the Central Time Zone. And Terry's again talking about the Rams. They originally started in LA. Yeah. Plus there was a stadium issue in St. Louis. Yeah, there was the issues with the stadium and stuff like that, but they
build a new one.
Should have figured out a way to keep them there. I guess that's kind of the moral of the story there. But yeah, Cowboys win this one 20-17. I thought it was gonna be a bigger win than this. To be honest, I felt like this was a game that the Cowboys were just going to control and just really take it to the Steelers. But Steelers played well for the most part. They kind of stayed true to what they do. Didn't ask Justin Fields to do too much. He did come out, and then Kyle Allen just threw a dot in like one play. That was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Ran the ball a little bit, played good defense, but in the end, again, Dallas just a little bit too much. Rico Dowdle emerging more and more by the week. I feel like in that backfield, he had 20 carries in this one for 87 yards. Dak turned the ball over twice. Still is not good.
No, I mean, this whole Cowboys team is still just not good compared to what they were last year.
Well, I don't think Dak's ever been good, but
yeah, I would agree with you with that. What year did his ankle just totally invert the other way?
Huh?
Remember his ankle injury that one year?
Yeah.
What year was that? I could have sworn he was actually having a pretty like MVP caliber season.
Well, no, yeah, he's had like regular seasons before where he's had like borderline MVP caliber years, but he can't ever perform in the playoffs.
Yeah. And
even like in just big games during the regular season where it's like a playoff team that you like would like to beat, help out playoff seeding, stuff like that, they just lose. So I don't know. I think
the Cowboys don't look good.
15, whatever, top 12 quarterback, but I just don't ever think he'll be elite. And
okay. So yeah, I mean, if he's not elite now,
yeah.
How old is he? Like he's a
year,
lot
like
older than people
9.
think.
Yeah, he's drafted in 16. He was old coming out, so he's got to be 31, 32.
I think he's 33.
33. Okay. Yeah. What is it? 31? 31.
All right. I said 31.
No, I said 31, 32. So once again, I win. All right. Finally, Monday Night Football.
I'm just going to fully let you hit on this. You were there.
Okay. Did you watch the game?
Nope.
Okay. Kansas City, New Orleans, KC won 26-13. Was never really too much of a game. They controlled it early and often. Series over there on Beer Boys Watch, letting us know what's going on. But yeah, never really too much of a game. I mean, again, Rice is out. No starting running back. Mahomes throws a pick, and the Chiefs still win by 13. They just continue to do it week in, week out. They win games. They find ways to win. Shout out to the Chiefs defense. They pretty much completely neutralized Alvin Kamara. The Saints really only had one good play like the entire game, and that was just that deep bomb from Derek Carr to Rashid Shaheed. Other than that, the Chiefs pretty much swarmed him on defense the whole game. Arrowhead was rocking. It's kind of funny. They had multiple Royals chants going throughout the game, which was kind of funny. It's a little tidbit there.
They got eliminated tonight.
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't know that, but so shout out to Kansas City, I guess. Good try. But Kareem Hunt also back in that Kansas City uniform, carried the ball 27 times for over 100 yards, got a touchdown as well. So he's been an important part. And then also Kelsey looks like he's been back now for 2 weeks in a row. He's had 2 good games again. He had 9 catches for 70 yards. It was very evident very early on they're just trying to get him involved with little just screen passes, shovel passes, dump offs.
Did you see Taylor?
I did not see Taylor.
Damn it.
No, I was on the opposite side of the stadium, unfortunately. But yeah, I saw that on Twitter. There was there's some Swifties saying that they were only trying to get Travis involved because they knew Taylor was going to be in attendance, which is why I just continue hate that shit. The showing her on TV is one thing. I get they're going to do that. It's arguably the biggest celebrity.
It is the most famous person on planet Earth.
Yeah, and she's at a football game. You're going to show her on TV. It's just her fans on Twitter that are just fucking delusional.
We're all 12.
Yeah, they're all
you cannot feel bad. And then weirdos like Kelly Keegs, who's 45.
Yeah, I hate Keegs.
I was going to say something bad there. So.
But anyways, that's that for that week in football. Teams on bye were Lions, Titans, Eagles, and Chargers. So they were all out of commission this week. So nothing to really talk about there. But let's take a quick speed run look this week. We'll try to make this quick, and then we'll get into rock our takes and get out of here. But again, 49ers won 36-24 against the Seahawks here on Thursday Night Football. Geno threw the ball 52 times. It seems to be a common theme in this episode is talking about quarterbacks who throw the ball 50-plus times.
Yep.
All right, getting into Sunday's games, though. Jags and Bears are going to play in London. Chicago's favored by 1, but I'm sorry. The Jags are going to win this game because
I agree.
The London team all time. They win there every single year. I don't understand why, but they just don't lose in London. So I think they win that game.
I agree with you on that one.
Packers getting a home game against the Cardinals. Going to be favored by 4.5. It's going to be a tough game. We've said it before. The Cardinals are always in contention against everybody, it seems like. I think it's a game the Packers will win, though. I think they should win it. One thing with the Cardinals, in terms of them being kind of feisty and being in games here and there, it doesn't really they still have only actually won 2 games. One was that pounding of the Rams without their 2 best receivers. And again, like you said, the Lions curse. So that obviously plays a factor as well. Then they beat a banged up Niners team, and they're coming off of their worst loss this season against the Commanders. So I think that the Packers are in a good spot for playing them in terms of just kind of vibes and momentum. I think they win this game. I don't know. Any thoughts?
No, I think Green Bay actually big here. My whole thing was Cardinals. They found to get a win last week, which is fine. They still didn't look good to me.
Yeah.
I don't know if you were watching.
Had red zone on.
Same. But when they were showing them, they didn't look great.
Sorry, guys. Just disclaimer for all the fans. I know by how knowledgeable we are, it seems like we watch the all 22 for every game. We actually don't do that. We just watch red zone. So
well, I do Monday morning.
I also usually sleep for probably 2 hours per Sunday. So
yeah, I'm not that. I can't sleep on football.
Usually I'm just it's more when I go to work on a Sunday and I'm already brutally hungover. The combo of the two, I'm just exhausted. I usually just pass out unless the Packers are playing in the late slot. Then I won't. But most times the Packers play at noon, or they haven't had one yet. But if they had a primetime game, it's a good chance I'm going to pass out for the first half of those games. So
okay, that's fair. But yeah, no, I think the Packers win, and I'll actually be adding -4.5 to the docket.
Huh?
I'll be adding -4.5.
Okay. Also, quick comment here. Forgot to mention this earlier. So shout out to Jerry for letting us know. Dak Hill was the first quarterback in NFL history to throw 2 picks in the same game on different days. Generational ass. So, yeah, that was crazy. All right, back to business though. Colts Titans. Don't care. Titans favored by 2.5. I mean, I don't know. Do you have a winner in that one or?
No, that was just rude. Is Richardson playing?
Colts should probably hope not. Am I right?
There's one guy who's certainly not watching. His boner status went away pretty quickly. Sam Johnson, he was making so many claims for AR.
Oh yeah, the AR-15. Yeah,
he shouldn't be starting.
His Bo Nix next to Drew Brees 2.0 looks 4 times better than that, and that's crazy to say because Bo Nix he's been better, but he's
still bad.
Great.
Yeah,
so bad. The fact that take looks twice as good as his AR-15 being a really, really good quarterback.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Texans are going to kick the shit out of the Patriots. I would have to assume they're favored by 6.5 on the road, which is a lot in the NFL. It's also Drake May's first game
Sneaky
starting.
Drake may start.
Yeah, but I feel like that's probably more reason though that they don't win, right?
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, that's a little bit of excitement to the team, but at the same time,
which is what happened in Carolina.
See, on the flip side, I do like that. Like when a veteran comes in for a rookie.
Okay, yeah.
It's like
when he's been there before, he's like, hey, I
Yeah.
got nothing to play for.
Exactly.
Well, it's like, yeah, first NFL start.
Rookie,
You are nervous.
You're
yeah.
nervous.
Okay, yeah, I get that 100%.
Yes. Terry did say that he likes the Colts over the Titans though. That one. I would probably go Colts over Titans if Flacco plays. If Richardson plays though, it's just gonna be an all-time meme game. I think
It's just gonna be an all-time who turns over the ball less.
Yeah, and who does it in a funnier way. All right, Bucs Saints, big game there in the NFC South. Two best teams in that division. Well, no, not two best teams, but both definitely in the running though. I think for the division title, looks a little more open than we thought coming into the season. Falcons have been a little up and down. Saints have obviously skidded hard here, but I still think have more talent than maybe we realized. And then of course the Bucs have been solid for most of the year. Tampa Bay is going to be favored by 3.5 on the road. So obviously Vegas still thinks that Tampa's the
which is too much for me when it's again another NFL debut, Spencer Rattler.
Yep. I kind of forgot about that.
Yeah, I think that spread's too low. I get to see NFL, you're like a spread 6 or above is a lot means kind of blowout. I like the Bucs here though to cover that with kind of ease. Spencer Rattler, while he did really impress during camp, he doesn't move the table for me from an already what I thought was an incredibly mid team. And I think the Bucs are still feisty, still good, still have a chance to win that division. So I like Bucs here.
Yep. Browns, Eagles by 9.5. Big spread, especially for a team that's 2-2 with a quarterback who hasn't played very well. That just proves you how bad Deshaun Watson and the Browns have been. Stefanski already came out and said that they're not going to make a quarterback change. So yeah, I think that Eagles. I mean, 9.5 is always a lot in the NFL, but this is probably about as fair as you can get with that big of a spread in the NFL. Because Browns are really bad and Eagles. I don't know. They still have a really good roster.
Are any of the receivers playing this week?
They're
all right. The crowd saying they both play.
Yeah.
Then it makes sense then.
Yeah, for sure. Commanders and Ravens. Interesting game. Ravens are favored by 6.5. Commanders are 4-1, riding high.
I think this is the humbling
for Jay Daniels.
Yeah.
First bad game that we see.
Yeah. That Baltimore defense, while Joe Burrow and company, did get to them last week, I think this is where the Commanders finally, meet their maker. Baltimore's just too good here. I like them big.
Yeah. I think that's probably the more likely outcome, but at the same time, I think it'd be really cool to see, Jay Daniels go in there.
He goes in there and balls out and they pull out a win. Like
he's like a real legitimate MVP candidate.
Not even that.
Probably
them to like
favorite.
Be like up there with like true NFC contenders. It's because who would you say are the true NFC contenders right now to like win the NFC and go to the Super Bowl?
Lions. I'm still gonna put the Packers in there. Still gonna put the Niners in there. Outside of that, I don't know. Unless I'm blanking on somebody, I don't.
Cowboys, if they get going, maybe.
They don't move me at all. But
so that's where you just listed 3 teams. If they go to Baltimore and win, I think they deserve a spot in that little rankings that you just said.
Yeah, I think
which is just fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy to think.
Yeah,
and like I also said, like Jay Daniels might legitimately be the MVP favorite.
Yeah,
if he plays a good game, and
who's the favorite right now? Like by heavy odds.
Yeah, I don't know.
Patrick to the crowd. Patrick Mahomes is plus 200 to win the MVP. He has 6 touchdowns and 6 interceptions.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's turning into just whoever
there's a sexual moment going on.
We got this,
like the kids say back home. Vegas is doing tricks on it.
Yeah, it is true. I mean, he's the NFL's golden boy, and it has in the past years looked to be more and more like an award that just kind of goes to the quarterback for one of like the best teams in the NFL, no matter like really how they play. I feel like that's also more of a projection too, that they just think that Mahomes eventually gets it straightened out a little bit. Stats look good, which
already 5 weeks in though.
That is how
good can his stats be?
Huh?
How good can his stats get if they're already 5-0, 5 weeks in, and his stats do not blow anybody away?
I still don't think it would really be that. It would it's not highly likely by any means, but it's also not completely out of the question to say that Mahomes could still go for like 45-8.
No, that's ridiculous.
I don't think it's that great.
That's ridiculous. 6-6.
Maybe not 45. 40-8.
I'm not calling the 40 or 45 crazy. I'm calling the 8 crazy.
There's a very good chance I think that he just cleans it up and doesn't throw many picks.
I don't think so.
Rodgers had years in his prime where he'll throw 3 picks in one game and he throws 6.
Okay, did he lose his receiver 1 and running back 1?
I don't think that's that big of a deal.
I think it is. I think it is.
Also, a couple of his picks haven't been his fault. He has had a couple other ones.
Oh Lord,
I'm just being honest.
This up.
No, because see, this is what the problem is with the NFL. Everybody hates people when they're good.
Yeah, everybody hates winners. That's been like what I've preached.
I'm just trying. Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to be somewhat subjective here. Like, if you've actually watched some of the games, like you do know that they're not all his fault.
Yeah, but I also know that he does take, a lot of risks, and he's not going to finish with 8 picks. You'll be at least double digits, and I'd put a whole lot of money on that.
Could be. I'm not writing that off. I'm just saying I can see a world where that happens.
I think a realistic finish for him is 32-11.
It's 3 more than what I said. That's not that big of a jump.
And I'm banking helping you right here, because if I want to be completely honest, it's more like 30-16 with a lot of yards.
I would probably put like $100 on the fact that he does not throw 16 picks. You would think he throws 10 picks in the next 12 games?
He's thrown 6 and 5.
Yeah,
and that receiving core is not getting any healthier.
That doesn't necessarily have any solo bearing to do with turnover rate.
His line right now, and the season is
11.5. I'm going to take the over. He's turning the ball over and they're winning games. They're not going to change anything. They're winning.
I think 11.5 is a pretty fair line.
Okay.
I think he probably will be right around 11.
Oh.
But I'm just, again, my original point was just that I don't think it's completely crazy for him to still be single digits.
They're on bye this week, right?
I think so.
Yeah, they're on bye. So he's not allowed to throw 2 this week. He'll throw 2 the next week. Then.
Okay.
And then it's at 8, and then are we getting scared again? All right. We've had enough Mahomes talk.
Okay. Chargers, Broncos. Chargers favored by 3 on the road. Expect Justin Herbert's healthy again now.
Yeah, sure.
Like that. First big test probably in a while for the Broncos. They've kind of riding high right now. Bonus played well the last few weeks. They won 3 games in a row, starting off with that big win against Tampa Bay, then an ugly win with the Jets, then they beat a bad Raiders team. So, a little bit of a test here now. The Chargers, Herbert's a good quarterback, Harbaugh, good coach. What do you think is the outcome of this one?
I like Chargers. That line -3 is always just scary to me. If I'm betting this game, I would just go straight money line Chargers.
Steelers and Raiders, Pittsburgh -3.
Hashtag don't watch game.
Yeah, don't watch game, but I also do like Pittsburgh a lot to probably cover this. I don't think Aiden O'Connell's any bit of an upgrade over Minshew. I think it's just let's try and change something.
Who's QB1 off the board in this draft?
What?
Who do you think's first quarterback drafted? Because obviously there's talks about it.
Yeah, I don't know.
He'll be a Raider.
Probably, yeah. If they get to that spot, I mean, I don't know who else would. Maybe the Panthers take one. I don't know. If
that's
they,
true. Also,
in front. Other than that, Browns, they're number 1. They probably take a quarterback.
I don't think the Jags do. If they do finish,
no, the Jags won't. They just gave them a huge contract. They won't do that. Titans won't. I don't think. Maybe, I don't know. It depends on how bad Will Levis is this year. Anyways, yeah. But I do like the Steelers -3 in that one. Falcons Panthers. I think that the Falcons should win this game pretty easily. They're -6. Kirk's coming off his best game of the season. Would like to think that he kind of keeps that rolling a little bit. It's America's Game of the Week on Fox, I believe. So, and then finally, Sunday Night Football
is not America's Game of the Week.
Isn't America's Game of the Week always Fox?
Yes, there's a way bigger game at 3:25 on Fox. Think about the team who always fucking has it.
Okay? I'm sorry. So I'm on my computer.
Oh yeah,
has his favorite team. They're at the top, and I know I skipped them earlier because I was going to keep them in time order.
Yep.
Okay, so yes, so this is definitely America's Game of the Week. Lions and Cowboys. Good point. At Dallas, Detroit's -3. I like that line. I think that Detroit is at this point in the season a much better team than Dallas.
Yeah, and I also think it's not even really hidden too. I think this is a huge revenge game just because of how that game went last year at the end of the year. Really screwed Detroit out of a bye.
Yep. Thank God too. Much rather would have played Dallas than Detroit.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, I think 3's fair.
Yeah, you're kind of infringing on my feel your suck my leg hairs.
My bad, Frito. my bad, gang. No, I like Lions big here. By big, I mean just cover the spread. Okay.
And then we are kind of touched on Falcons Panthers. Sunday Night Football, Bengals Giants.
Why?
Really bad game. You would think maybe they could flex something this early in the season.
They're not allowed to. Right?
Yeah, I don't think they are. But
Do we know what week is the first week they're allowed to flex? It's like week 13 or something like that.
is it that late?
Yeah, it's really late.
I don't know. Beer Boy, I'm gonna look that up. First week they can flex. Thank you. Anyways, but yeah, Bengals 1-4, Giants 2-3. Bengals, you have to win this game. Feels like damn near every game at this point is like must-win game.
Yeah.
You're 1-4, third in the AFC North.
Week 11.
Week 11. Okay. Really a couple big games here coming up for the Bengals. Two very winnable ones. They go on the road to the Giants and then on the road to the Browns. Get out of there 2-0. You're back to 3-4. And you got the Eagles at home, and Raiders at home. Then you get back into another tough stretch. So just win the games that you should, Bengals, and then figure the rest out later.
Okay.
It's really the moral of the story for the rest of the
I
season.
agree.
Finally,
Jets again in prime time.
yeah, Jets again in prime time.
Somebody hand me a loaded gun.
8th time this year. They're 2-3, playing the Bills at 3-2. Buffalo -2.5. Jets coming off of a coach firing, and also a changing of the hand at play calling duties on offense. I think Bills should win this game. I don't know, though. It seems like they've had, a pretty easy time taking care of teams that they have the better roster than, but are struggling against teams that they're, even or maybe a little worse than. Had a tough time playing up. Haven't had a tough time playing down, I guess, if that makes sense. And even the Texans lost. Like, they didn't play horrible. And the Texans are a good team. They only lost by 3 points. So I do like the Bills in this one. I think they have definitely looked better overall than the Jets have this season. So I think I would take them to win by a field goal.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. That does it, I guess, for the NFL. Let's see. I guess we got a couple of comments coming in here. Terry Walker says that he thinks Beck will be the first quarterback off the board. So it would have been Ewers if he didn't get hurt. I still honestly wouldn't be shocked too if somehow Shadur still goes first.
I don't think he goes 1. I think that's purely the media.
I think he does. I don't think he does either. And I wouldn't pick him, but still, if Colorado plays good and he plays good, there's some team that'll fuck up and take one. Jerry says maybe you hit on that in previous shows, but bringing up the Raiders, Adams needs to get the hell out of Las Vegas for his fantasy team. And he's also out right now. Steelers by $1 million. Yeah, I don't know what the hell's going to happen with Devontae Adams.
They're saying though that now he's not getting traded. I don't know what's going on. He still gets dealt. I think it's probably just 2-team showdown, right, between Baltimore and the Jets.
I don't know. There was rumors of the Saints too. He wants to play Derek Carr, but now it's like Derek Carr might not even be playing quarterback there. So
yeah,
I don't know what that is, but I feel like he has to go though soon. So okay, let's we'll hit one more commercial break. We'll come back, and then we will get into today's Rock Hard Takes. Again, today's Rock Hard Takes is going to be best TV shows. So we'll do a little draft, and then once we get done with that, no Kelly's Kiki rankings today. Kind of part of the reason that we decided to go with this kind of more casual setup for the show today. Clyde is suspended once again for just continuing to be ass at his job, but he should be back in next episode. So yeah, we're gonna break. Come back to Rock Hard Takes and get the hell out of here. But once again, you'll listen to Rock Hard Ball, part of the Dogs Media Network at Culture Ball Dogs. We'll be right back.
On the College Football Dogs website, you'll find a main page that features some of our biggest and newest stories. Our conference pages for content related to your favorite team's conference. Our team store, where we have products that are available all year long, as well as gear available for a limited time only. Our podcast page, where you can see when one of the 12-plus College Football Dogs podcasts is streaming live on social media. Our subscription page, where you can join our Discord. If you're interested in becoming a contributor at College Football Dogs, email us at info@collegefootballdogs.com. If you enjoy any College Football Dogs content, we really do appreciate any donations you can make by visiting the donate page on our website or scanning the QR code here.
College Football Dogs, for the fans.
Alrighty, welcome back to Rock Hard Ball. Once again, part of the Dogs Media Network at Culture Ball Dogs. Another reminder, if you kind of been paying attention to this little scrolly bar across the bottom, we got our socials there at Rock Hard Ball, at Rock Hard Ball Pod on all the major social media platforms. Make sure you give us a follow there. You can keep up with everything that we got going on with the show. Trying to be better about posting some polls and stuff too with our Rock Hard Takes. You can say who had the better draft. maybe we'll start posting our bets and stuff too. We'll see. And then also, again, we're live every Monday and Thursday at 9 p.m. Central Time. So make sure you're tuning in for every show. It's good to always have our comments active. I think that always makes for a better show. So if you're ever here, tuning in, if you can't comment, it's fine. But if you can, let us know your thoughts, and we can kind of get into that stuff too. It makes it more fun. So now, without further ado, let's get into this week's Rock Hard Takes. It is TV shows. So no rules. Basically.
Who is 1-1 again?
What was our last one? Anybody know? Anybody out there know?
We should probably do a quick search. Was it Darkness Retreat?
Yes, it was Darkness Retreat. But that still doesn't ring a bell for me on who had it.
No, I know who I took first overall. I don't remember.
Oh, it was you.
It was me? Okay.
I don't remember who you took, but I just know I took Rodman.
I took OJ Simpson.
Oh, yes. Okay, yeah. So you did have the 1-1. All right. For my 1-1 today in TV shows, I'm going to go with just my favorite TV show of all time. I know people seem to either love it or hate it. I think there's more love out there, but people who don't like it really don't like it, it seems like. Go with The Office, U.S. edition, of course. I'm not a psychopath. But that show I've basically grown up on since I was like 8 years old. And I've rewatched it more times than I can count, can quote damn near any episode word for word in that show. So all-time favorite of mine. I don't care if it's anybody else's favorites, but I would hate myself if I didn't take it one. So
okay. I have two here. Two layups for me. I'm going to go Game of Thrones and The Sopranos.
Okay, two very good ones. I will say I've never actually watched The Sopranos fully through. Not House of the Dragon, but I don't know if that's gonna be a later pick for either of us. But Game of Thrones would have been my next pick. Very, very good show. I will just say outright right now, mine's probably gonna be pretty sitcom based because that's virtually all I watch for TV shows. I do not watch a lot of dramas. That being said, my next pick, I'm going to go with Parks and Rec. Kind of a similar one to The Office. So it's kind of tough in terms of like maybe there's almost too much similarities for a lot of my shows that I'm probably gonna end up picking here. But again, I'm gonna go with the shows that I like to watch and that I rewatch a lot. So go with Parks and Rec next. Number 3, I will actually I'll go shout out to Beer Boy. I'll change up my stuff a little bit here. I'll go with The Ranch. I did also like The Ranch a lot too. He was mentioning that probably would have been his top 5. I don't know for sure if it's like 100% in my top 5 for all-time TV shows if I really sat down and thought about it, but I didn't prepare a list tonight. So we'll change up my genres a little bit. I don't know, that's still kind of little sitcom-ish, not quite, but yeah, go Ranch next.
All right. I got 2 layups for me. I'm going to go with Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah, great one.
And How I Met Your Mother.
2 really good ones. Ones that I would have picked probably. Probably would have went How I Met Your Mother before. It's Always Sunny. Next one, though, I'll go with Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Okay.
Another one that I love. Good show. Andy Samberg, super funny. Lots of great stuff in that one. I don't know what they're looking for here. This might sound great. Can I take a YouTube channel as a show?
You are not allowed to take the Outdoor Boys.
God damn it. All right, well, shout out to the Outdoor Boys. That was my next pick. I guess I can't take that. Shit. Because I don't really want to take another sitcom here, but it's like I don't really know what else to take.
There's one really big TV show out there that I'm gonna take if you don't take it.
I just don't know what TV shows. I'm trying to think of TV shows I watch that. Oh, actually, I will. I don't know if it's the one thing. I'm gonna go Breaking Bad.
Yeah, it was the one I was thinking of.
Yeah, I'll go Breaking Bad. Last pick, another really good show. And again, I guess
it kind of stumped me because I thought I was gonna have that free. I kind of gave that one to you a little bit.
Yeah,
now I gotta
blink on that.
Now I gotta think. So give me like a 30-second shot clock.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
What TV show do I want to go to?
I can give you some shout. Terry said he likes Big Bang Theory, Punisher, Dexter.
Dexter's really good. I don't know if it's gonna.
I don't know. Is Castle Bones one show? I don't know. Is that it?
No, Castle and Bones are 2 different ones. Yeah. Never watch. I'm gonna be completely honest with you.
All right, you gotta be pretty close. 30 seconds now.
I'm definitely not close to 30 seconds yet.
You did say How I Met Your Mother already, right?
Yep.
All right, kid. Come on.
We're not sweating it.
I think it's something. You better start sweating it because you're running out of time.
Definitely not running out of time.
I've never watched it. Terry. Never watched it. either of them.
I'm trying to think like what shows. Oh, okay. I'm gonna finish up with the league.
Oh, that's a good pick. Yeah. I wouldn't have kind of
Oh, fuck. Actually, can I rewind? Yeah, can I rewind that? Peaky Blinders.
Okay, yeah,
I would have taken Peaky Blinders.
I was
Fuck,
actually
what was I thinking?
I actually had Peaky Blinders.
Shout out, Jason.
I had Peaky Blinders in the kind of the back of my head the whole time, but
That actually would have probably been above Sopranos for me.
yeah, I don't know. I thought about it the whole time, but again, I'm just a lot bigger fan of like sitcoms and stuff like that. So went with my personal rankings more there. In terms of like what people liked more, that probably would have played, I guess, a little bit more. Honorable mentions, throw some out there.
Okay.
New Girl.
New Girl's good.
Enjoy that one. Family Guy.
Family Guy should be up
South
there.
Park,
Rick and Morty's good.
Morty. Shut up. For anybody who couldn't hear,
One Tree Hill. One Tree Hill is a good show.
I never watched it. Is it actually good or?
It's good.
Okay.
It's a little feminine, but it's good.
Outer Banks, new season's out right now. Shout out.
Pass.
Also, saw Con earlier. Bijan Robinson's in Outer Banks, so shout out to that. But I mean, Madam Klein is so hot, so shout out. Yellowstone, it's a good one.
Is it recommend? Like, should I watch it? I've never watched it.
One season with my mom. I haven't watched it like on my own.
Am I allowed to throw Survivor in there?
Yeah.
That's a TV show. Yeah, Survivor. Survivor's definitely up there. Last episode pissed me off.
Terry said his like top like never watched is Seinfeld, Sopranos, Walking Dead, Game of Thrones.
I've never watched Seinfeld. I don't think I ever will.
Yeah, I don't think I ever will either. Probably. Also, Walking Dead was like really good for like a couple seasons.
It was so good for the
And they
first.
just ruined
Once
it.
like Negan came in, that's when I just stopped watching.
Yeah, I also just stopped watching it.
This might be a curveball. Does Saturday Night Live count as a TV show?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Saturday Night Live, but
That's another one
that
that
also
was
really
way
fell
better.
off.
They've been a little bit better lately. But yeah, that was another show that just
Like
really
obviously,
fell
like
off.
once that whole Sandler group was in there, that was just peak.
I mean, we weren't alive for that, but yeah.
I've just watched a lot of
Yeah.
episodes of that.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
Stranger Things.
Stranger
Stranger Things
that's-
is
that's a
good,
very
really
show.
good.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know.
I think of like some other like Friends does not belong up there. That shit
Friends, yeah,
sucks.
Friends is I don't like hate Friends by any means, but I don't know why people think it's like the greatest show of all time.
No.
I think it's an okay show. Like, I'll
Also,
watch it.
if you ever like meet a Friends fan, it's a cult. I swear to God,
yeah,
it's
it's
a
their
cult.
personality.
Oh my
their
goodness,
entire personality.
It's unbearable. You're like in the
Oh yeah,
You're-
I don't dislike the show. Like I think it's
you're
a
in the
fine
minority
show.
there though, where you're
but
like,
I
yeah, I
just
like
don't-
it. It's fine. Like, yeah, I'll watch an episode.
Yeah, that's
if
exactly
my mom
right.
has it on. It's fine.
I've watched
Me
the
like a
full
true
series through.
diehard
but-
Friends fan. Oh my goodness, they just won't shut the fuck up about it.
Yeah, it's not on my like rewatch
Yeah.
like loop. Yeah, because I just throw out a show.
Ooh, another one of my sneaky favorites, Workaholics.
I don't know if I ever watched that.
It's with the three goats.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I think that'll probably wrap it up for Rock Our Takes. And that being said, again, no Kelly's Kiki rankings tonight. So you don't have to listen to just, your ears don't have to bleed tonight in terms of just the worst takes of all time from producer Clyde. But that being said, that'll be the end of the show. So we thank you guys all for tuning in. Pretty good turnout tonight for the show. Shout out to anybody who's in the comments. Terry, first time commenter tonight, was in there a lot.
Yeah, shout out Terry.
Shout out Terry, being in there quite a bit. Shout out to I think it was Jerry and 2025 is our year. They're both in there a little bit tonight, so always good to see. But yeah, it's gonna do it. Again, we'll be back Monday, 9 p.m. Central Time for another episode of Rock Our Ball. We'll be recapping this weekend in college football, recapping the weekend in NFL. Maybe talk some MLB playoffs. We're gonna maybe do that tonight, but then the show ended up running pretty long, so we'll maybe kind of skip out on that for now. We'll just get to that on Monday. But yeah, thank you guys all for tuning in, and we will see you all next time.
Fantastic show, fellas.
How did that have